everybody, and thank you so much for tuning in to our very first episode of the Phoenix Rising podcast, a Jamie Minor experience. I am so excited today because I have a special new friend of mine, award-winning author and speaker, Blaise Hunter. Thanks for coming, Blaise.
Hi, thanks for having me.
How are you doing today?
Wonderful. It's a good day.
Awesome. Well, we got through our technical difficulties on setting up the podcast,
Yes.
stayed composed and happy, and we're ready to get off to the races here. I
There
was
you go.
hoping you could share a little bit about yourself and what you do with the viewers.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on. And then we're just having a great conversation. So, a little bit about me. My backstory is I'm a radio broadcaster turned publicist, and then I became a stay-at-home mom and encountered some health issues, a life-threatening illness, as well as miscarriages. And so with that, I just was grieving pretty hard and decided to write through my pain and wrote a book called Heroine, Embrace Your Flaws and Own Your Awesome. And that was never supposed to be anything other than a healing story for me, but organically turned into a business, a nonprofit group, and now I'm an advocate for human rights with reproductive health rights. So it really blossomed from there and is healing me from the inside out. And I'm starving this disease and making this world a better place.
Thank you so much for sharing. It's amazing when you go to heal yourself and do something good for you that it turns into something bigger.
Absolutely.
And the first time I met you and saw you at the Mental Health Summit, I walked in and I remember seeing this woman and the energy and the way you were dressed and the way I was dressed. And it was just like, I was like, oh, another one. Yay. and then when I saw you speak, I sat there and I was like, I have found someone who has just as much energy as me, if not more on stage. And I was like, I need to get to know this woman.
Oh, well, thank you. I saw your green sequin suit and I'm like, yeah, my peeps, right? Like
Yeah.
we can point each other out in a crowd.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So today we're going to talk about a song that I wrote, and I'm going to do just a little background about the song, and then I'm going to play it for both of us, and we're going to hear your feedback. The song is called Good Enough. And this was a song that I wrote after I went through my recovery and my sobriety, where I looked back at myself and came to this realization that my mindset was I wasn't good enough to get sober. I wasn't a good enough person. I hadn't done good enough things. I didn't have enough confidence. And I was in such a deep, dark place that I wouldn't fix myself because I didn't think I deserved it. So simply put, song was called Good Enough. I walked through my struggles, my anxiety in the song, my feelings of remorse and guilt and shame. And then you can slowly hear the beat change and the lyrics change to this kind of epiphany of, wait a second, maybe I'm good enough just the way I am. And my goal for this song is for people to play it and listen to and to come to that realization on their own. Because if we can just take people, everyday people, whether they're doing awesome, they're struggling, whatever they're going through, to get that simple fact of, hey, I'm good enough just as I am in this singular moment in time. Oh, what a better feeling it would be.
Absolutely. And I think that's such a beautiful, us fusing together, because I wrote a book about masks and I wrote about, body image and self-hatred from the women perspective. And here you are sharing about unmasking yourself and being okay as a flawed human and you're good enough from a male perspective in your life story. So I love how the two are coming together, that it says the same thing, just from a different perspective and different story.
Exactly. It was absolutely meant to be. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop on the track here real quick and we'll have a listen to it, and then we're going to chat about it and have a great time.
Wonderful.
Awesome. I'm going to put her on right now. Sometimes I wonder where my confidence went. Used to be me when I was out with my friends, but I put a mask on, just trying to pretend that I was okay, that I was just like them. Maybe if I take this, maybe if I drink that, maybe I can loosen up. Maybe I can hide it, maybe I can find it. Do I even give a fuck? I don't even want it, do I even need it? Maybe I'm good enough. Maybe I'm good enough. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm sick of feeling like this, goddamn. I've had enough time to take a stand. Don't give a fuck if you don't understand. I'm gonna love me as I am. Maybe if I drink that, maybe I can loosen up. Maybe I can hide it, maybe I can find it. Do I even give a fuck? I don't even want it, do I even need it? Maybe I'm good enough. Maybe I'm good enough. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm sick of feeling like this, goddamn. I've had enough time to take a stand. Don't give a fuck if you don't understand. I'm gonna love me as I am. Sometimes I wonder where my confidence went. Used to be me when I was out with my friends, but I put a mask on, just trying to pretend that I was okay, that I was just like them. Okay.
Wow. Love it. Love
Ladies
it.
and
Love it.
gentlemen, that was just Jamie Minor and Good Enough. I always wanted to say that about one of my own songs, like I was the radio host.
There you go. You did great.
So, I'm going to quickly say, just from a personal perspective, I find it very unique to listen to a song that I created and get what I envisioned out of it myself
For
when I
sure.
sit there and listen to it. So, Blaise, the mic is yours. We'd love to hear what you think about the song, how you think it's going to affect people, and how it, really connects with you and everything that you're doing with your vision and how you're making a change in the world.
Yeah, I immediately, my first word that came up when that song came up to me and you gave that to me, I was like, yes, yes, another voice to say what I'm saying and, marry our voices together and amplify that the message continues forward, because it's not just me and it's not just you, but if we can inspire others to say the same thing, then it's moving the needle on that we're enough. And so I was just like, yes, you're doing it. Thank you. Thank you for having that voice from your side of the story, from your sphere, because like I said, my reach is only as far as I can go. And same with you, but then we're saying the same message. We're pushing and we're moving and we're going forward and changing that conversation. So all what you said, the main course, like absolutely. And it resonated with me because I literally wrote the book about I'm good enough, that I don't have any more self-hatred. And that little bit of backstory was I have a health condition and I went to a therapist and she was like, oh, you have an autoimmune disease where your body physically attacks itself. And I said, yeah. And she was like, well, do you think there's a link with that and how much you hate yourself and that you attack yourself with your thoughts every day? And now your body's responding to your thoughts. So like I took that initiative to remove the mask and think I'm good enough to heal. And so when I heard your lyrics, I was like, oh, that's so healing, so amazing. You're injecting love and acceptance and belonging just as you are. And that's what we want in this world. Like you don't have to do something. You don't have to find it outside of yourself. Just be, not in our doingness, but in our beingness. So like your song captured that epically. And just your side of the story and all of your history is weaved in there and it's beautiful. And I loved it. So thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. And it's just gives me goosebumps to hear that about my music and feel that type of reaction and what it could potentially do. What are your thoughts on like this type of music with a meaning, and how it can be, a song like this, like why doesn't a song like this go viral? We have so much music out there that's the opposite of this. It's not sending healing vibes. It's not sending positive vibes. And what are your thoughts on music like this getting out there so that more people can hear it?
Yeah, I totally agree. Like books for me, music for you, get that message out that really goes deep below the surface. And yeah, there's a ton of music that just talks about booties and going to the bar, right? But
Yeah,
then there,
right.
and then there's another flip side to the coin because, you know, beauty's in the art of the beholder. So art is in the eye of the beholder. And so you find really amazing deep meanings even through those bar hopping songs. But I encourage people to like share that message with music. Music moves the soul. There's a power in that melody that, and even with words and lyrics, it's the same thing. Like writing music, it's very intertwined. And so I really encourage people, yeah, push deeper, go deeper with this type of music because it is healing. It is addressing issues beyond the surface level, right? More than just relating to your audience, you're pushing them to be challenged and to grow. And we don't grow unless we're challenged. So I really encourage and I applaud you for that, for going deeper below the surface of that and addressing it.
Oh, thank you so much.
All this anxiety built up in my head, replaying back all the shit that I said. Do they think I'm stupid? Do they think that I'm cool? Does it even matter what the fuck I do?
What did it feel like for you when you kind of made the transition of the not liking yourself, not thinking you're good enough, and then coming to that realization of I am good enough? What did that feel like? Like walk us through that transition and what took place.
It's hard as hell. I'm not going to lie. Like, it's not going to be like, oh, I just decided to love
Yeah.
myself and here I am. It doesn't work like that. It took probably 3 years to really get in a place of
Okay.
complete freedom. Like, and I always talk about being unshackled because you're just in your head about what if they judge me for that? What do they think about that? And you're always in your head about it. And today, as I stand here and I'm like, it's just, I've unlocked that. Like, there's no feeling of what if I just like walk around accepting myself. And it's so freeing. And then I can be me freely. And so it took a year of me putting post-it notes
Mm,
on my mirror of saying, I am beautiful, I am enough, my body doesn't decide and dictate my worth. I'm beyond what my image is and I am beautiful. And you need to like accept that and stand down attacks and love instead. And so that took a year of literally in the mirror every day repeating that post-it note of like
wow.
5 things to like get myself in a habit. And now when I look in the mirror, I'm like, that's hot. And I'm even more weight than I was like 7 years ago when I began this journey. And I still look in the mirror and I'm like, it's like my image didn't change, but my perception of that image did. And that was beautiful that I got to see that. And when you see people like that, you can see it right away, whether they've accepted and embraced, and not just accepted and embraced, but fully
Mm-hmm.
in love with themselves. Because it's not good enough just to embrace yourself, because there's still that neutral position. Now I'm like completely in love with myself. I let my personality, my quirk shine like yourself. And you get to that juncture where you're just completely like it's oozing out of you, and people see that and they want that, and then they want to work towards that. So that's what I am today, and that's what
Oh,
that feels like, is that it just oozes out of you and people respond because you are in that place of
I
freedom and
love it. I love
unshackled
the
love.
ooze, and I love the mirror. So the mirror and the post-it notes, very similar to what I did, is I talked to myself in the mirror and I repeated it over and
Yeah.
over. And when you're oozing out this pure, authentic love for yourself, right? It's not fake. You can see when it's fake and you can see when it's real. People are going to come up to us and say, I want what you have. And what I love about the way
Hmm.
that we're both doing it is we're just being us. We're not going to people saying, you should do this. You need to try that. We're just
No.
showing, and then people are making the decisions for themselves, and we're able to give them these tools. And my tool is the same the way that you explained in the mirror. As I said, you need to retrain your brain these negative
Yeah.
thoughts, because when you think of a negative thought as I'm not good looking, I'm not funny, I'm not this, over and over, your brain goes, well, he's thought about this a lot, so let's think about it some more. So then you
Yeah.
do the opposite of
Absolutely.
I'm beautiful, I'm awesome. You repeat it, you write it down, you put it on in the mirror, and all of a sudden you rewire your brain into this state of what you have now. So I think that's so, so cool. I love to hear it from another person who has been successful at it. What are your suggestions and guidance for maintaining this ooze? I'm going to use that once you have
Hmm.
it. So you've put in the work, you unlocked it, you're unshackled. What do you do for maintenance? Because once you unlock it, it doesn't just stay. You still have to work at it, right?
No. Yeah, absolutely. My biggest thing is like you have to be a
Mm,
referee of your thoughts. The thoughts don't the thoughts don't dissipate just because you decided to love yourself. The thoughts actually come in harder because it's like, oh yeah, how much do you love yourself? How much? We'll test you at every level. And so I really encourage people to be the referee of these thoughts. And it's a yes, no. Does this help me or does this hurt me? Because we don't do that anymore. That hurts. That does not heal me and help me get to be the best version of myself. So every thought, I get like a private detective. Everything that's coming in, it's a yes, no dialogue, and I go through that. Is this helpful? Will this get me where I want to go? No. Is this toxic? I don't do that anymore. I filter that out. And I go through that, and I encourage people, you've got to blow the whistle on yourself, because it's so easy to go back into that pattern and you don't even recognize it. It's just what you've done for 30
hmm.
plus years of your life. It's easy. So it's hard work, but it's a gift. It's a gift to be your referee and manage those thoughts and filter the bad ones out and take in the good ones. And I really encourage people, that's how you maintain it, is like I get so bang on, like buzz. Like I picture the whistle of a referee. Like I literally do, like, nope, time out. We gotta now reconcile what this thought process is. Is this helpful or hurtful? And
Yeah.
it's only one of two things.
That the referee is fire. I'm sitting here, and because I'm the multitasker, I got 1,000 hamsters in my brain running around, and I'm going, okay, what's my referee look like? And first thing I picture is this referee. He's looking. He's got a sparkly referee suit, first of all, not just a regular one. And there's a couple of mascots behind him too, and he's got a big flag that he throws up. So when I get the thought, and I'll share an honest thought that I've had recently is my singing isn't good enough. Okay, and what I've
Mm,
been doing is
yep.
saying, hey, like your singing is where it's at right now, bud. You've been doing it for 2.5 years. You're hitting goals, you're reaching things, and remember, it's not about your singing voice, it's about the vision and the goal and what you're trying to share with your music. So there we have the
Yeah.
thought. The singing's not as good as it should be. I'll picture the referee throws up the flag. Nope, no, 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 no. You're completely wrong. You're offside, Jamie. And remember the vision and focus on what you can control. I love that referee. That is so cool, and that might even turn into a song. The referee of your thoughts. And
There you
look at
go.
that. You bring two people together and you create something spontaneously, and we've recorded it. I've got goosebumps.
There you go. I love it. Because yeah, it's one thing to say I'm good enough, but like it doesn't stop there. Like it's work. And how do you navigate through that? And I feel like we can get lost. Oh, I'm good enough. Yeah. Well, give me tips. Like give me a manual. So I like, yes, exactly. You don't, people that just say, just believe like, I'm good enough. No, it doesn't work like that. It's like effort. It's work every day, 24/7. But like I ask myself, how much do I want to love myself? Because only respect and the work and the grit and the resilience and the effort will take me there. Not I'm good enough in the mirror. It goes way beyond
Hmm.
that. That's the first step. You got to continue to work at it. And so when I say to people, like, be the referee, okay, now how do you do that? Because people, if they've never done it,
Hmm.
how do you actually do that? And so I say it like if you get lost in the maze of your thoughts and those feelings and the circumstances of life, what do we do when we get lost? We Google Maps that stuff. We Google Maps everything. We don't go anywhere we don't know without plugging in our coordinates. And yet we do that. We go endlessly on a no destination drive
Hmm.
every day with our thoughts. So map that. And so it's an acronym. M is for mess. Remove the
Okay.
mess, sit in the mess because you can't get anywhere without taking off those masks and my armor and my protection of my triggers and all of that. That doesn't help me navigate through my thoughts when I'm in trigger mode or sitting up with my masks. I got to be naked, who I am, flawed, and be okay with that. So that's the next one, accept and embrace. I got to accept that person in the mess without the masks because that is beautiful. That is good enough. But I have to look at it like, okay, I'm in a shitstorm today. I'm going back to old patterns. I got all this stuff coming at me. That's okay. I accept that. That's human. I don't need to be some rock star that doesn't have faults and flaws. It's the acceptance part is their superpower.
Mm.
That's vulnerability. So remove the mask, sit in the mess, accept and embrace. Then you're moving on to the first P, which is I got to change the perception, not the
Okay.
image. So I can't do anything. I ask myself, this is where the yes, no, can I do anything about this situation right now? If I can take an action, then great, I can remove the problem and go forward. But most often we can't. So I got to change how I look at it versus changing the exact image. I'm not going to change DNA, what I'm made up of. This is my body. This is what it is. Stretch marks after a baby. I can't change that. Yeah, I'm not going to go change my nose. I'm not going to go change my cankles, the way my stomach is, the way my arms are, whatever it is. I'm changing my perception of it, not the image. And then I got to infuse passion and love because I got to not stop at the acceptance part, like I talked about. You got to actually be in love and live with passion. Because Benjamin Franklin said it best. He said, most people die at 25 and don't get buried till 75. And he's talking about
Wow.
emotional death. So don't sit there and be like, oh, okay, I accept who I am. Like, I accept my flaws. No, you got to be in love with who you are, flaws and all, and be the
Wow.
superhero.
I love that one too. The maps is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here in this moment and being like, all right, you know, this is also where community and finding people who share your vision and your path and knowing I'm not on my own, push the ego aside, let's bring someone else in to share the vision of this song. And what you're doing with that right now as we speak is amazing because we can say, for example, when the song's released and the whole album's released, someone's going to see the song good enough. What is that? They're going to listen to it. And
Mm-hmm.
then with the song, I will have this podcast and I'll have the links to you and everything that you offer, so that we give this person, a great pathway to go about the change that they're trying to make. And that's what I really wanted to kind of grow and explore with this album that I'm releasing, Phoenix Rising, is let's have a song, let's have a podcast.
Yeah.
It's going to come with a little self-help guidebook that you flip to the page good enough. It'll have what I thought about it, what you thought about it, and then it'll have links to you and to your book, so that we have a specific amazing person such as yourself tied in with this song, offering these tips that you've offered. So let's look at the two tips. We have the referee and the maps. I'm assuming they have maybe a plethora of other ones too.
Yeah, as you get into it, it just more and more comes, right? And I do it. I don't know how much time you have to do lots.
Why don't you give us one more? Give us one more. Yeah.
One more. Okay. I do the identity check, the 5 W's. I'm a reporter. The way to conduct an interview is the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, and why. And so when we feel lost, we've lost some of our identity. And that's the crux of many of our problems today when we have addiction, when we have so many masks and trauma and all of that coupled, we lose who we are. We lose what purpose we have on this earth. And if you don't have that, it's very hard to actually move forward and grow. You need to find your identity again. And it's not just finding it on some search that it's just accepting that I'm born on this earth for a reason. But I got to go through the 5 W's and whatever order you want to do them in. But what is my why? Okay. So the first one is the why. Why am I here? Why am I on this earth? And usually your clue is your pain is your purpose. So whatever you're going through is your exact purpose, to turn it around and make it your pearl. So lean in, don't shy away, don't armor up, don't mask up, unmask it. That's the key to your purpose, man, is my illness, my miscarriages, key to helping inject healing and love and empathy and humanitarian efforts. That was part of me. It's a gift. Your pain is your gift. So your why is number one, is figure out the why. And it's always your pain or the problem you want to solve in the world. So if you have an invention, if you see a problem and you can fix it, that's part of it too. It may not just be emotional pain. And then what makes me unique? That's your personality. That's your superpower. What makes you unique? Because that's part of it. So your why, what makes you unique. And then we're going into more of what can I do with that? And when is the right time? Where do I want to go?
Okay. Very cool.
So that's really thing. I have a goal and I want to set up my 3 values, because we can get into that business ADHD or my life ADHD where I take on every shiny penny and I do a reroute, and now I'm on an endless roundabout rather than Google Mapsing my identity check and getting me there. And then so when opportunities come up, I just had a doorbell ring in the middle of a podcast.
I like it. You know what? Because what happens is the here and now, no mask, vulnerability, and it's good enough.
There you go. There you go. I even thought about putting that on my door today. Don't ring bell, record.
Bring them in here. Let's put them on.
That's too funny. It was UPS.
Did you order Amazon.
No. Awesome. So I was just where do you want to go? I write that down, and it's I have short-term and long-term, but my top 3. So when things come up, or, a course or an opportunity, anything like that, or something's challenging me, I'm where do I want to go as a human being with my identity? Where do I want to go with my, passion projects in my business? And if it doesn't align, then it's not the right thing to do, even though it all lines up. And it's all check, 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 and I'm excited about it, but it doesn't actually get me to my end goal of where do I want to go. So I encourage people to reconcile all that time, right?
Again, another one that's just a banger, so helpful. And right away, again, I think when we hear an idea like this and a thing, I'm going to relate it to myself.
Maybe if I take this, maybe if I drink that, maybe I can loosen up. Maybe I can hide it, maybe I can find it. Do I even give a fuck? I don't even want it, do I even need it? Maybe I'm good enough. Maybe I'm good enough. Yeah.
You know, what is my purpose? And what was my pain? My pain was addiction. It was
Yeah.
addiction. And so, you know, I went and addressed the addiction, and then all of a sudden it turned into my purpose of, well, I need to help people with addictions because
Yeah.
I've conquered it. And
Exactly.
I need to share it with the world. And it became a passion. And then it became that superpower. Sober fun is my superpower, straight up.
Exactly. I love it.
And
That was your gift, but
and
your pain was your gift.
the pain was the complete gift and put me where I am today, sitting with you. You know, the where and what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to throw a sober music festival. I'm going to go to the mental health summit. I'm going to make music. I'm going to start a podcast and do all these things. And I feel at the same time, when we hit these W's and we understand them, I'm healing myself continuously from that pain the whole time. People ask me and say, do you go to AA? Do you go to smart meetings? Do you go to this, and this? I'm like, no, I don't. And they're like, well, how do you do it? I'm like, because I'm constantly fighting that every day by my entire passion and purpose. Like right now, I'm being reminded of why I don't go to drugs and alcohol, because
Yep.
by not going to drugs and alcohol, I'm able to have these purely, you know, pure clarity conversations with an individual such as yourself, because I don't do those anymore.
And you're integrating all of that within your work. So that is healing. That's the healing process. And, you know, when I get on stage and I breathe fire and I walk off and I need an inhaler, that's okay, because I walk up there and I'm healing when I do that.
Yes. And you can
And
hear it. When people hear you,
thank you.
I'm just going to say it to everybody watching. You have to see her in person. Trust me.
Thank you. I know people are like, aren't you so worn out? I'm like, no, because that is actually healing for me. So I'm leaning into that. And like you said, you're still going to have these moments and you're having challenges and you're going to have days where you don't feel so warrior-esque and superhero, but you lean in and remind yourself of, who am I? Who is Jamie? Who is Blaise? Because I am woman. I am heroine. I am warrior. I am Phoenix rising, and I got this. And even though today I'm going to sit in it and honor that feeling, I still got it. And that's a warrior within the mess.
Yeah.
And that's not to say you're never going to feel, because people are like, I can't breathe fire every day, Blaise. I'm like, neither do I. There's days where I'm on the couch and I'm tapped out, but I'm breathing fire in the rest. I'm breathing fire in healing, and rather than beating myself up for it, I'm just going to sit in it.
Exactly.
And embrace it. And that's
okay
healing in itself.
Okay to sit in it. And
it's okay.
Yeah, I think that's a huge point, where when you're doing what we're doing and people are going to try to do what we've done with the tips and the tricks and the songs, is when you have the day of, I'm a little anxious, I'm a little sad, I'm not feeling like this, 100% person that I was the last couple of days. It's totally fine. Say that in the mirror. Say that it's okay that you feel like this today. Don't run away from it.
Well, and I always say the 80-20 rule. Like, we think we got a 80-20 rule. Like, we think we got to rock it out of the park every day. 80-20, 80%. We're not perfect. We're never going to be perfect. We're going to mess up, but we're mostly going to mess up 20% of the time. So if 80% of me is a rock star, I'm okay with the 20% that I fall and struggle with, because that's human. I'm never going to be at 100. So like, allow room for the 20%. And I look at my day and I'm like, yeah, I clearly was triggered there. I clearly did not respond the way I should have. But I'm aware. I'm going to be more acknowledgement of that next time going forward. And I'm going to accept that's in my 20% box. And I'm not going to feel guilt and shame about it and beat myself up, because that is not helping me. That is hurting me. And I say, like, every word, every thought, it's either a cut or a Band-Aid and a healing salve. And so when you can picture self-cutting, and I write that in my book, of like, picture yourself, like, would you cut yourself? And people are like, no. And I'm like, but you cut yourself with your thoughts and beat yourself up. So you look at your little, younger version of yourself, your 5-year-old version of yourself, and they have heart slash wounds, bleeding because of all of those things
Yeah.
you've said to that person. Like, you wouldn't do that when you
No.
mentally picture that. So, like, just accept that you're going to have 20%, be aware, work towards excellence, not
Absolutely.
perfection.
Excellence, not perfection. 80-20 rule. Love that one. I remember I use that for sales a lot. When you're out selling the 80-20 rule,
Yeah.
and knowing that it comes into just for your own self healing and purpose and drive to get the goals that you want. Well, I'm so happy that you came on this show today. This is our very first one, and for sharing all this wonderful information, your fire, your energy, and your passion, and for giving kudos to the song and honest feedback is
I loved
amazing.
it.
And I'm really looking forward to doing more with you on these topics and these
Yeah.
songs and collaborating on different events together. And yeah, just wanted to say thank you so much for coming and sharing everything. And at the end of the video, we will share all the links on where you can follow Blaise on social media, where you can get her book, where you can see her speak, and all these things. And if you're watching this and you're sitting at home and thinking, I want to find what she's created and what she's had, well, you'll have to go check her out and maybe listen to my song too if you want.
Oh my gosh, your song, like, please continue. Like, this is just going to continue to grow and expand and hit people's hearts, like smack dab feeling I can be me and I am good enough. And it was part of your words that were healing, and you're putting that out there, and it's sound waves, and sound waves never die. They just keep bouncing off of things. So what you're doing and what you're releasing is going to be felt in Iraq, is going to be felt in China, is going to be felt in Europe, and it's going to be felt in Africa. And it's just a beautiful thing that those love sound waves are going to continue to impact and push and amplifying my voice, your voice, and all these people that are contributing to moving that needle is going to heal the world. And so I honor that.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for sharing everything with us, and we'll be in touch soon.